Hello and welcome to whoever happened to stumble upon this video or come back to my channel. Hello, my name is Dana, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all about how I budget. So I've been doing monthly budgeting in my bullet journal for a little while, probably since about December, and now it is March. So I thought I would show you guys how I budget, and I thought the easiest way to do that would be to just budget. So I did a whole full page budgeting spread. Usually I'd put it at the bottom of my spending tracker, but I think moving forward I'm going to start doing it as like a whole on full page, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And yes, this is my actual budget and how I budget as a college student. So first off, I'm just going to go in and fill out my headers. I'm just matching my style of my March setup. All right, so once I have my header in, I just need to split my page in two sides, my budgeting plan and then my actual. It's really important when you're budgeting to follow up on your budget and see if you actually followed what you said you were going to. So I'm just gonna split this right down the middle. So I'm gonna have my budgeting plan, which is my budget itself. Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. And then my actual. So first off, what I'm going to do is put in my income. And then very, very exciting for me, I am going to get paid out by YouTube for the first time ever. So I just went back and looked at what my February and January revenue, like finalized revenue was, because that's what's going to get put in my AdSense account this month. And it is over the $100 threshold, so I will be able to pull that out. So that is all the income that I am working with for this month. So then I'm just going to go through and add up my income total. Also, I just wanted to mention, as you guys can see, other than YouTube, I blurred out what exactly I get paid by each of my jobs, just for like privacy. I don't want to say what my jobs specifically pay me, but I have no problem sharing like the total income amount. I just didn't want to share by job, if that makes sense. All right, which we have to be $1,094. So next up, once we have your total income, we're gonna go into your fixed expenses. And this varies by everybody. So it's really good to first, when you decide that you wanna budget, to take a look. And if you don't keep track of your finances already, I know before I started formally budgeting, I would go every month and do a spending tracker where I'd write down my cash and card every time I spent money and got paid. I also use the Mint app, so you can go through, or if you don't do any of those, just go through your old card statements and see kind of what you're spending money on. So if you know you have fixed expenses such as, rent, if you have any subscription, something you're gonna pay basically the exact same amount every single month. So I'm gonna add mine in. And if you did not watch my recent what I spend in a month as a college student, you would not know, but I work at school for the Department of Res Ed, so I do not have to pay any sort of housing costs, which is really nice for me. All right, so I counted saving as a fixed expense. So my bank that I have my debit card with, and I also have a different bank for my savings account. So I have auto withdrawals set every time I get paid. So I count savings kind of as a fixed expense because it automatically withdraws from my account every month. And as my mom has taught me, you want to pay yourself first. So if you can, take money and dedicate it to you before you go and dedicate it to other things. But we're gonna not do that one first. So what I will write in, actually in pencil, is 200, because that's just what I have set up, that when I get paid $100 from my paycheck goes directly into savings. But I'm going to adjust that based on what I have at the end of all my variable expenses as to what I plan to put in savings, because any leftover will go into savings, but we'll just put that in right there for starters. Then I will get rid of that on my total. Next up, I pay for Spotify, which is about like $5.30 every month. So I will subtract that. And then my biggest fixed expense that I pay for is I have a yoga membership for unlimited yoga, which is $80 a month. All right, so next I'm going to go into my variable expenses. So these are things that I know that I'm going to have to spend money on this month, but I don't exactly know what those are going to be. So I'll write in my categories and then tell you a little bit about them. All right, so my first variable expense is gas, and lately I've been spending a lot of money on gas because every other weekend I have to drive home for work, and then the weekends that I'm not working and I'm not on duty, I drive to Joe's house, my boyfriend, because he cannot come visit me on campus. So I've been spending, well, for me this is a lot on gas, but about $60 a month on gas. For eating out, I like to do, and eating out I also count like when Joe and I go on dates, so any kind of date or eating out expense, I try to do about $50 a month. Stay under that because I do buy some groceries and have a meal plan, so I don't want to kind of overindulge on that. Speaking of groceries, because I have a meal plan, I don't spend too much on groceries. I just go about once a month for essentials, so I try and spend about $50 on groceries. Next up, I have personal. So this is if anything I want to buy for myself, just kind of like my discretionary spending that I budget in every month, where if something comes up where I want to do something out of the blue with a friend or see a really cute top that I want to buy, I'm gonna do about another $50. I feel like these are all about the same, but that is what I budget in for my personal. And then pinning, this is just something that I know is coming up this month, so I budgeted that in, where I have to buy my pin for my nursing pinning ceremony, which is going to be about $35. Left over, seems like we have kind of a lot left over. Getting paid a lot more this month than typical. I'm picking up those extra shifts, and this is my first time getting paid out by YouTube. So one thing I actually want to change right now is I'm gonna take that 114 and subtract that out, because I know that I wanna put whatever money I'm making from YouTube directly into my savings account. So that's gonna be 314 anyway. I should have done that to begin with, because I have this linked Google AdSense linked to my PayPal, and my PayPal linked directly to my savings account, because that's where I put any money. Primarily I use PayPal for when I get paid out by Redbubble, which isn't every month. I don't believe I'm gonna get paid out this month. I did, however, get paid out last month. So any like additional money that's not my traditional jobs, which go into my regular spending, my regular debit card bank account, I go directly into my savings account. So this last bit, I think I'm gonna add the remaining 400 into savings. So this will be 714, which is awesome, because I know last month I did not have that same kind of income. So I only ended up really doing the 200 that I have default into savings. So it really just depends on how my paychecks hit, again, because I had to switch some shifts around. March is going to be a much more fruitful month for me. And this $50, I kind of like to leave myself a little leeway, that I'm not dedicating it to go anywhere in case, you know, one area is bigger than I'm expecting it to be. I'm actually just gonna do a miscellaneous, because, you know, something always comes up that I am budgeting to be $50. So there you go. We're at a 30 cents negative, but these are all kind of estimates. So I put a spot for expense total, but my expense total should equal my income total, because this is a zero-based budget. So I'm just gonna do expense total. And like I was saying, this is a zero-based budget, which means that every dollar has something that it equals. Every dollar has a place. So at the end, once you kind of go through all your places, you should have a zero difference. So I'm just gonna go through really quick and add everything up. Yep, so we end up with the exact same amount. I'm just gonna ignore that cents, because I don't really include the cents with my income. Usually there's change, but I just kind of leave it to whole numbers. So yes, my budget is balanced, meaning that the amount that I'm putting in is the exact amount I have accounted for, and that is because I count savings as an expense. So something else I wanted to add into my budget area to kind of keep myself motivated is I have, like I was saying, a separate savings account. This is with Ally Bank, and with Ally Bank you can do these things called buckets, where it's all within one account, but my money, I can allocate it to different areas. So I'm gonna do what I have starting out in savings and what I have ending in savings. So the first of the month, and then the last of the month. So I'm just gonna write out my categories. I have my emergency fund. So if something crazy were to come up. I have gifts because, you know, throughout the year, mostly saving towards the holidays, but I can pull from for birthdays and things like that. Moving out. I know I'm still in college, but it is never too soon to save for school because school is super expensive. And then whenever it is that I can go on my next vacation, hopefully things are good over the summer. All right, and I'm not gonna fill in what I have in my savings accounts at this moment, but I will fill in what they are today, and then I'll leave spots for the last day of the month. And then I'm just gonna go in and transfer over all of the categories so I have an area to write it, what it ends up actually being.
Sorry, but I can't stay. I can't let you hurt me again.
All right, so now I have all of this laid out, so then at the end of the month, I can go through and write what my actual totals were. And then I like to go through with just a green and red pen, and if it's under, I'll do the difference in green, and then if it's over, I will do the difference in red. But I hope this was helpful to you guys to kind of see how I budget on paper. I know some people like to use Excel, some people buy like specific budgeting planners, but this is how I set up my budgeting just in a notebook. So I hope you guys like this video. If you liked it, subscribe if you are not already. I post 2 videos every Sunday and Wednesday, and I will see you guys in the next one.